lawsuits and a lot of the stuff that happens on the private side. They don't want to be involved in it, obviously, because the military, wants to handle security and fly jets and all that. But she expressed an interest to at least know what was going on. So I've got some emails I'm going to be sending her, and she won't comment about it. But I said, look, I think you guys should be involved in this because just the stability of everything that goes on inside the fence, you guys should be involved.
But I think the handwriting's on the wall there, and I think that policy coming down, mm-hmm. and other things I've seen in there at the airport, I think the time came mm-hmm. that maybe there should be a divorce, so to speak, between the military side and the civilian side.
We can't have divorce. We share runways. We share perimeter inside the perimeter of the fence.
Well, what I'm talking about is a new airport.
Oh, a new airport
in the Yuma area
would be nice.
And I've
I
thought long and hard about this.
Yeah.
And the Somerton option that was brought up, I've kind of had a change of heart now that the policy is going to be fair.
Yeah.
And everybody's off.
Yeah.
Now, as of December 1st. And I think that I don't think anybody's going to overturn that. I've heard lots of talk about the pretty well-to-do people that have the jets at the airport. They know John and Kyle. They know so-and-so. I don't think either of these big politicians are going to stick their hand in the blender to try to keep access for these guys and jeopardize an F-35. I don't think any big-time politician.
I don't know, but we can get them on and ask them on the air. But I don't think.
What I'm getting around to is you've probably read about the Somerton idea and
paving that runway
of where the airport authority was talking about paving the runway at Somerton and trying to move people down to Somerton.
I have heard about that, and I mean, anytime we can improve, and remember, it's tax dollars that comes out of fuel taxes and other things that gets put back into these roadways, just like the roadways we drive on, the highways and everything else. Same with the airplanes; the tax dollars get put back in there. I wouldn't mind some of the tax dollars for the fuel to go back into the Somerton Airport and to be able to pave that runway. That'd be fine.
The only opposition to it that I've found so far is some people are uncomfortable with the idea of of a government agency building, of paving Charles Salzer's runway.
I would be uncomfortable.
It's a private airport.
I would be uncomfortable if it came from this board, the Yuma County Airport Authority Board with strings, because I don't trust them.
I agree with that.
I don't trust them.
But now, what if, Russ? What if it was the city of Yuma, the city of Somerton, the tribe? What if it was all these agencies all got together and worked this out, and it wasn't just
I think that'd be
one
fine.
entity?
I think it'd be fine.
And I talked to Charles a lot about this. And
Charles owns the airport right now. Charles is the airport owner. He owns the property. He owns the airport, the operations, and this is down in Somerton. It's right now a graveled runway with hangars, nice facility, a lot of fun. It's fun to go down there because you can drive your car up to the airport.
It gets rid of all these problems.
Yes.
It solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, you can wrench, you can have your buddies over, you can do whatever, you can meet and around a hangar and
there's no F-35 there.
You can tell stories.
There's no F-35s at Somerton.
You can tell lies. Whatever.
But now, I talked to Charles about it, and like I said, the few people that are a little bit uncomfortable, the idea it's a private airport and we're going to be using public money. Actually, if you research this, it happens all the time. A private airport can receive FAA funding. Well, they have to make assurances that it's open to the public.
Because they're handling aircraft traffic. Absolutely. There's also another one, and I lost the phone number I need to talk to. I think it's Randy. What's the name of the cattle company out there?
McElhaney.
Randy McElhaney, I think, is wanting to open up an airport in Welton. In the Welton area, which I would also be in favor of. Huge in favor. In fact, Welton's closer to me than Somerton. And me living out in Mesa del Sol would be ideal for me. Not that I have an airplane, but at least I'd go out and watch those that do.
I'd be out there begging rides.
I'd out there to hitch a ride or something out there.
There's nothing to stop Welton from having an airport.
No, I mean, I think Welton and Somerton both should be built up. That's fine. That would be absolutely fine with me. As long as the Yuma Airport Authority doesn't control it. I I don't want them involved. I don't want their fingers in it. I think it should be independent.
There's nothing that says that they totally have to be the ones behind this. This could be a lot of the leaders in Yuma could get together and make this happen.
Yeah, but
aside from just the airport authority.
Correct. But right now the airport authority is the one that applies for funds. They apply for grants. They apply for the monies. And they are the ones that are reaching out and saying, look, why don't we do it for you, and we'll do it all for you. I don't trust that, because then you'd end up like a lease like Garza has, and then they'd evict you.
Right.
I just don't trust it. I don't. There's something about it that just stinks of overhead, heavy-handed control.
Well, those are details, though, and details aside, I've read a lot about this, and I've researched it and talked to Charles at length, and I think we're onto something there.
I hope so.
I think that would, and the way it would work is, some people say, well, Somerton has a 300 feet above ground level pattern.
So what?
To stay under the Class Delta
doesn't matter
airspace at Yuma. Now, what they could do, and Charles has already talked to the Marine Corps, the air traffic controllers, what they could do is raise that pattern. This could all be worked out.
Why would you even need to raise it? Right now,
then you would talk to, they could put a repeater down there, and you could call up Yuma Tower.
Yeah, and what we're talking about,
they would be under the control of Yuma Tower.
The Somerton Airport is within the 5-mile radius of Class D airspace that controls Yuma Airport.
It's underneath it.
It's actually
There's a cutout right now.
It's within it, but they say, look, as long as you stay above 300 ground above the ground, then you absolutely are outside.
Or below, you got to stay below 500 MSL,
which is 300 feet above the ground. Right.
Yeah.
But I think that works out fine. But we're really within that 5-mile radius. But if you look at a map of Phoenix, a lot of airports are adjacent to each other, only a couple miles apart, and they really change the airspace. They alter the shape of the airspace, and we could do the same.
Yeah, these things could be worked out.
Yeah, it's all worked out. We could do another one in Yuma if we needed to.
But the advantage of the Somerton option is that you're not having to build a whole new airport. Now, and that could take 5 to 10 years if the city of Yuma or the county or some other government agency.
I'd like to see one in Somerton. I'd like to see one in Welton. I'd like to see them in both places to perpetuate, to continue private aviation, people working on airplanes. We have freedoms in this country that many countries don't have. I remember reading an article not too long ago about a gentleman that built his own helicopter. And after he built his helicopter, he couldn't fly it because he happened to live in a country that didn't allow privatization. We still enjoy that. We still have it. We still can build things in our garage, take them out and fly them, because we're Americans, and we can do those kind of things.